Okay, I guess you can do it. You can host with me, okay.
Ashley, you won't regret it.
I better not. See you tomorrow. Hey everybody! Welcome to YB Online. My name is Ashley and I'm the Provincial Youth Director for the PAONL.
And my name is Owen and I am the Assistant to the MDSI Director of the PAONL. And we're so excited and so happy that you're with us tonight.
We are. Rowan, time for school.
Mom, I'm ready.
All right, come on, let's go. We're gonna be late for school, okay? Let's go.
Mommy, what's wrong?
Again? Seriously, again?
But listen, do not get me started. You know how I feel about this.
Don't you think you're taking it a little too far, Ashley?
Too far. Too far.
Whoa, you seem a little tense.
Just a little bit. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's just, yeah. I probably need a coffee. I just need a coffee. Did you want one?
I'll take a tea, actually.
You would, wouldn't you?
So you never did tell me what happened the other night.
No, it was nothing. It was just...
I'll take some milk.
Don't touch that! Something happened with a milk carton the other day.
A milk carton? What do you mean?
Yes, a milk carton. It had a note on it, see? Wait, what? You don't suppose that this was Isaiah?
Are you serious?
Owen, he has not been the same since I became the back-to-back rec champion at Youth Breakaway. He wants the trophy. Like, I know it.
It's only a trophy.
Get out. Oh, Jonathan, I didn't even know you were working here now.
Yeah, oh, you're just saving up for my YB registration. Shit.
Well, like, really great news because YB is online this year and it's totally free for everybody.
What?
Yeah, totally free.
Online? Yeah, good news.
You can use this for like milkshakes and chicken nuggets to have like your own watch party. It's really cool.
Yeah, I can do that.
Sorry about that. You're just kind of getting the information. Well, I am gonna have a soy foam, no foam, skinny, extra triple shot latte, if that would be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, need a hand?
No, actually, like, I'm all right. Here you go, Jonathan.
Keep it.
So, like, what are you doing here? Visiting or?
No, I live here now.
Oh.
I can grab coffee. We can catch up.
Cool.
Yeah, let's grab a seat.
Sure.
Americano, a little bit of milk, 2%.
Got it.
I've been thinking a lot, having some conversations with the G-man upstairs, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm sorry.
Listen, okay, maybe from time to time, I may have gotten a little bit carried away also.
I'm sorry? What was that?
Maybe I possibly from time to time have gotten carried away also in this area about this.
Hey, it was war.
It was war.
It was war, wasn't it? I'm so glad that we worked that out.
Yeah, me too.
The world can be a scary place for cool kids like this. You never know what can happen.
Right.
Well, this has been such a pleasant conversation. Oh my goodness, look at your coffee. Do you want some milk? What's up, fam? I heard it was the big day and you guys are like filming for YB Online and all, so I thought I'd pop by with some copies and wish you guys luck.
Luck. Not much luck here. Owen was supposed to be here like over an hour ago. Like, I have called him, I have texted him, like there's no answer. Like, it's literally like he disappeared. I'm so confused. He said he was gonna be here and he's not here.
Wow, that's so unfortunate. Here I was thinking that Owen was actually a cool kid and like Cool kids don't do that. It's too bad you didn't have like another cool kid who could like fill in or something.
I know. I literally can't think of anybody.
Well, I mean, since you're stuck, I could like help you out.
Let me try Owen just one more time. One more time. Okay. It's you and me. We're gonna do this. All right, let's go. And I'm the Provincial Youth Director for the PAONL.
My name is Isaiah. I am also on the Provincial Youth Lead team.
Isaiah, can you believe that we are here doing this again? Like last year was the very first YB Online. We were at home, we were missing like chicken fingers and milkshakes. We were missing like being in the tabernacle at ECC, like in the presence of God, like such good times. Yeah. Such good times.
Yeah. Online 2020. And we're doing it again. Back then I was like, we're never doing this again. It's a one-time thing. It's going to be amazing. But here we are. Yeah. Even though last year was legendary. With so many people watching, so many students. Yes. And the chat was on fire. It was great. And we even had like our grandparents watching online, the real online church watchers. Yes. But this year, some of you aren't home alone. You're actually watching at your local church or in a backyard with your youth group right now. And so that's so exciting. Big shout out to all those doing watch parties.
We love it so much. And you know what? I wish that we could actually go to every single watch party across all of Newfoundland
that would be
tonight. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Okay, other than that as an option, we have an incredible night planned for you. So we have some unbelievable guests lined up.
The best.
Like the coolest. We would say they're some of the coolest kids. We're super pumped. And we are gonna have a ton of fun, aren't we?
Yeah. It's gonna be good. And not only that, we are still able to connect with God right where we're to. And I believe tonight He's gonna show up right where you are, and you're gonna have an amazing encounter with Him. And really, that's ultimately what we are here for. We are here for the cool stuff.
Yep.
As the cool kids.
Yes.
But we're here to meet with a cool God. So we're really excited for that.
That's amazing. Cool kids meeting with a cool God.
I came up with that just then.
If we have to do YB Online 2022, that's the name of it. Okay.
Let's go.
Before we start tonight, we have a few reminders that we want to share with you. So number one, share this video with your friends, with your family. Get the word out that YB is happening tonight.
Tell your Nan, although she already knows.
She does already know because she's on Facebook.
Hi, Nan.
Okay, 2, in the chat, we want you to comment, connect with your YB family that is all across Newfoundland. We want to hear what you're up to. We want to hear what you're thinking and all the stuff that's happening all across the island tonight.
Yeah. And Instagram. Where my Insta fam at? Show your pics. Take a picture right now, upload it to your story or your feed or whatever. Yep. Take some pictures at your watch parties and let us know. Tag us at PAONL Youth. One word. Or use the hashtag YB Online. We would love to see you. We'd love to see you guys interacting and participating with us and see what you're up to. We want to see you, so do it. Instagram.
And their teas.
Yeah,
Everybody is a cool kid this year.
Yeah, or we're trying.
So, we very much are trying.
That's how I feel right now.
So send us all your pics. Okay, so one final thing before we get this whole thing started tonight is that we would love to pray for you, okay? As we spend the next hour together, we are believing that God's gonna do incredible things in your heart and in your life. And so we're gonna pray that God's gonna have His full way in everything that we say and do for the next little while. So would you lead us in prayer, Isaiah?
Let's do it.
All right.
God, we thank you that we just get to do this again. Although it's not really what we want deep down, we still get to do this. We still get to connect virtually across this province, and we get to meet with you. And you want to move in our lives tonight. You want to show up and you want to transform our lives. And so if we were to give you a moment, I believe you would do that. And so we ask that you would do that. We just ask that you would help us just receive whatever it is that you have for us tonight. We ask this tonight in the name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's
Come
do
on,
it.
guys.
Let's go.
I saw Satan fall like lightning. I saw darkness run for cover. But the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. I believe in signs and wonders. I have resurrection power. Till the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. My praise belongs to you forever. Oh, this is my testimony from death to life. God's grace rewrote my story. I'll testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Come together, sons and daughters. Up with blood and wash your water. Sing the praises of the Spirit, Son and Father. Our God will finish what He started. Our God will finish what He started. Oh, this is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Oh, if I'm not dead, you're not done. Greater things still to come. If I'm not dead, you're not done. Greater things still come. Oh, I believe. If I'm not dead, you're not done. Greater things still come. Oh, I believe. If I'm not dead, you're not done. Greater things still come. Oh, this is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify by Jesus Christ the righteous. I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. This is my testimony.
I was one of those kids, I grew up in church and, I enjoyed going to church. My life changed a lot throughout my early teen years, and I ended up drifting into a lifestyle that wasn't what I expected. I'm Jason Burge. I pastor at Jubilee Pentecostal Temple with Relevant Youth Ministries. I want to share a bit of my story today about how my comeback happened and how it took place and how my life was a life that needed a comeback. I ended up getting into different things like drinking and partying and drugs, and it's kind of encompassed who I was. And I can remember as I went through high school, it would just escalate and escalate and escalate. And it was challenging, no doubt. And I can remember the night when my comeback began. I had arrived home from a party the night before, and I can remember going to my aunt's house to talk with her. I had some issues with mental health and things like that. And you know, as I went and talked with her, she said to me, she just told me, asked me how I was doing. She said, "How are you doing, son?" At that moment, she just began to share once again the grace of Jesus with me and his love for me. And she, you know, really encouraged me, you know, you need to make a change in your life. I sat with her that night, and you know, I had a lot of thoughts in my mind about what I would do that night, and they weren't good thoughts. They were thoughts that were very, very bad. Thoughts of suicide at times and those challenges. But I remember that night as I sat there with her, and she called one of the pastors at the church, and they came and they gathered around me to support me, and they prayed with me. And that night, my comeback began. And as I accepted Jesus that night, sat on her kitchen floor on December 20th, 2007, it wasn't in a church service, it wasn't, you know, on a Sunday, but it was just a night when I realized that, you know, I could do this with God's help. And as I began that night, my life changed from that moment on. Were there challenges? Of course. I don't know if any comeback story is complete without some setbacks along the way. And there were times when I knew that there had to be something that could help me, something that would carry me through. And there were many times in my life when I had to rely on the grace of Jesus in my life. And I messed up, no doubt, at times. No matter what challenges or what setbacks I may have had, as I journeyed through those days, I knew that he was there providing his grace and his love and his support in my life to help me to come back from where I was. Because for a number of years within my life, I didn't think I was going to come out of where I was. And to be honest, a lot of people looked at me and a lot of people said, well, there's no hope. And maybe we feel like that today. Maybe we feel like there's no hope. There isn't a day when he's going to say, no, he's tried and he just can't do this. But he's going to be there with his arms wide open saying, you know, I see your challenges. I know what you've been through. And you know something, I'm going to walk with you through this. I'm going to continue to love you, continue to pour my grace on you. And I know maybe, you know, you have a similar story. And, you know, we all face challenges, but it is the grace of Jesus and his love for us that can provide any of us with the opportunity and the chance for a comeback in our lives.
Isaiah? What are you doing?
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Hi guys, welcome to another year of Rec. Why be a Rec? We're so excited you're here with us.
Yeah.
We did the Mr. Noodle Challenge last year, and unfortunately Tyler did send in a video, but it didn't make the cut for the final draft of online. So I'm just wondering how he's been dealing with that.
Well, not the best. He's been practicing other classic Rec games, just kind of preparing for his comeback this year, and I've actually caught him quite a few times practicing.
No way. We definitely need to see these clips.
Yeah.
Let's check it.
So those are some great classic camp games. Some of my favorites, but that's not the one that we're doing this year.
No, this year's game is a classic camp game. Some of you might remember it. It is an oldie but a goodie, and it is called the Alpha-Gettys Spelling Bee. It is going to be so good. You need to think quick, act quick, and
Get messy. Very.
and you need to get messy. You need to get messy for this.
We put the challenge out to all of you. We had some brave souls to accept that challenge.
Yeah.
So we set some predetermined words. Your youth leaders recorded you and timed you. So the words were breakaway, comeback, and milk. You use your fingers to find the letters, spell the words. But then we kind of upped the game again, which was probably a bit much, but
It was a little bit much, but that's okay. Like, Alpha-Gettys are not that great on the best of days, but cold Alpha-Gettys, oh boy. But you guys dove face first, literally and figuratively, into this game, so props to you guys.
well done. You cleaned the plate, you cleaned all the letters off the plate. So check out the students who did that. Great job, guys.
Great job. We were wondering if getting you guys to clean your plates off would be too much to ask, but you guys were champs.
You rocked it.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you to the students who participated, to the youth leaders for getting you all pumped up and getting going. So we have an announcement.
Yes, so the winner of this year's Rec Challenge and the winner of the personal pizza party is...
So thanks guys again for being a part of Rec this year. We love being a part with you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of YB Online.
See ya.
Hey everyone, my name is Tiffany Rowley and my family and I are global workers here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. We've been here for the last 10 years and in the capital city here we have 2 million people that live here. The main religion here is Buddhism, and here you'll find some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. It actually reminds me a lot of Newfoundland and Labrador. Cambodia is one of the poorest countries in the world, and despite all of the poverty that you see, there is hope. While Ian and I are involved in many different avenues of ministry, Ian works primarily with university students here all across the country who come to the capital city and live in the dorm that we have and the student center that we run. I work mainly with kids all over the country, and we have around 650 Child Care Plus families that we work with. From the oldest kid to the youngest child, everything that we do, we desire community and connection. When you're able to foster a true community, a true relationship, a mentorship with these kids, with the youth, with the young adults, that's when we see the chains of poverty break for these families. And we see that through the hope that Christ brings. This year we have a special project that the PAONL Provincial Youth Team and you guys, the YB family, are partnering with us, and that's called Cambodia Connect. You all know that when we have that group of friends that we feel safe around, and you pair that with a strong faith in Jesus Christ, you can face any challenge that life throws at you. We all value being a part of a community where you can laugh, where you can share life, where you can have fun and encounter Jesus together. Your goal this year is to raise $10,000, which will create the same type of community for 325 students here in Cambodia. $30 makes it possible for a youth here in Cambodia to experience that life-changing, incredible, awesome community that you guys get to experience back home. So we challenge you to give. Give right now at your Facebook watch party to your youth pastor, or give online through give@paonl.ca. Don't miss your opportunity to give and to partner with God with what He is doing all across this world. So I hear that you guys have a tradition of pieing your youth pastors when you give to provincial youth missions. So let's see what you guys can do with this one.
Want some?
Sure.
Online. My name is Rebecca, and I'm the program coordinator of Pentecostal Studies at Tyndale University, and I'm also the admissions counselor. For those of you who don't know what Tyndale is a fully accredited Christian university in Toronto, Ontario. I just wanted to introduce myself. If you're interested in going to a Christian university, feel free to reach out to your pastors and they can connect you with me, and I would love to chat with you about your options. If you're interested in, degrees such as psychology, history, biblical studies, or anything else, I would love to chat with you about what you can do in the future, and I'd like to meet you.
all right. You're late.
You see size, he like a rhinoceros.
Huh. Where's Vlad?
Out moving truck. Oh look, there he is now.
You're late.
I had to move truck.
Huh. This way.
Grab his arm, grab his arm.
There. Go! 12, please! Who's there? Back off! I know Kung Fu!
My. How the mighty have failed.
Oh. Failed? Fallen?
What?
Fallen. How the mighty have fallen.
Rats, I always mess that one up!
Whoa, easy now. Why am I here? Who are you?
Let's bring some illumination into the situation, shall we?
Seriously? What's happening right now?
She was right.
The milk? It was you?
I've been long planning my return, my revenge for the comeback of the back-to-back rec champion, the rise of 2% milk.
It's all about rec? I'm never on a team. Ever.
Oh, Owens, don't be so silly. Without you, Ashley wouldn't have a co-host. And besides, I want to be the cool kid. I am the cool kid. And on top of that, I want to compete for the trophy at the end of the event. I seem to recall your failure on the scooter last year. Just so sad, Owens. Embarrassing, really.
I don't want to talk about it. Man, I think all the milk has gone to your head.
Obviously. How do you think you would feel if you were relegated to preaching the sermon instead of being a cool kid and hosting the event?
Dude, you did an awesome job last year. You spoke to the kids so strongly.
Oh, come on, man. Well, I really did feel like the Lord. Let's not go there. I will have my revenge. Enjoy the darkness, my friend. And if you get thirsty, drink some milk.
That spirit was new over the water. Spirit come new
What is up, YB? I am so excited that I get to be here with you guys tonight. But man, I miss your faces. This would have been, you know, the beginning of camp, and so the excitement around getting to camp and finding your rooms and seeing friends that you haven't seen in such a long time. I miss that too. I miss seeing my friends that I hadn't seen in, you know, the past year. And there's the excitement of the lunch lineup, and I miss that, and I miss the noise in the cafeteria, even the cups. Yes, even the cups. I would listen to the cups. That's how much I miss you guys. I miss rec days and the challenge and the beach days and the pizza party, and goodness knows that I have had a lot of pizza in the past year and a half, but there is nothing better than that pizza party to celebrate the victory of a rec win. Am I right? You know? I miss worshiping with you guys. I miss walking through some of these life questions and God questions and these big moments with some of you for the first time and some of you for the 100th time. I just miss you. But I am so hopeful that we'll be able to be together again soon. And man, can you imagine the party that's gonna be had when we can actually get back together? It's gonna be so good. You know, this has been a really long, 17 years now, it feels like? Actually, a year and a half, but it's been such a long time. And it's like this one bad thing happened and it turned into a season that we could never have imagined. It's kind of like life. You know, there's things that happen to us in life and they turn into these seasons that set us back, and we don't even understand how we got to the point that we are, or how long it has to be before we get out of it. I want to tell you tonight about a guy that maybe you've never heard of before. And it's my favorite story in the Bible. It's one of these like unheard underdog stories that never gets told enough, and maybe that's why I love it. But I love the reality of who he was, who he became, and what he was called to, because I think it relates to us so much. So his name was Mephibosheth. I know what you're thinking. So now that that's a hard name to say, you have to realize that I have to say that a lot of times through the next 10 plus minutes, okay? So if I mess it up, I'm sorry, but it's a hard name. Be thankful that your mother never named you Mephibosheth, okay? So we have the story of Mephibosheth, and you probably haven't heard much about him before. But I'm gonna tell you something. He had setback after setback in his life, but his comeback was way bigger than he could ever have imagined. Before we get into Mephibosheth's story, I guess I kind of got to tell you who he was. And so there are some other characters in his story that you may be more familiar with. His dad was Jonathan. Now, Jonathan was David's best friend. And David is, you know, David and Goliath, David the psalmist, David the shepherd boy, David the king. That's that David. And so Jonathan and David were best friends. His grandfather was King Saul. King Saul hated David. David was Jonathan's best friend. Jonathan was the son of King Saul. And there was Mephibosheth right in the middle, and they all play a role in his story. And when Mephibosheth was 5 years old, so he hadn't lived a long life up to this point, but everything that he had known, I'm sure, was great. He lived in the palace. His grandfather was the king. He was in line for the throne. And at 5 years old, both his grandfather and his father were killed in battle. And just like that, everything that he had known was taken from him. And in an effort to flee for safety, his nurse took him up, ran as fast as she could to flee the palace, and ended up falling. Somewhere along the way, in an effort to reach safety, Mephibosheth ended up crippled in both legs because of the fall. And you got to understand, in this time, all that all that meant was he was no longer seen in society as someone who had value. His handicap, the crippledness, was looked at automatically then at that point as someone that didn't have any value. That's where we pick up our story in 2 Samuel chapter 9. So I'm reading from 2 Samuel chapter 9, just starting at verse 1. So one day David asked, "Is there anyone in Saul's family still alive?" Now this was after David had established his place on the throne, so he was now the king. And this wasn't like an odd question for a king to ask, because what you need to understand is in that time, once a king took the throne, they would often wipe out anyone who was left in the family line of those of the previous king. They didn't want at any point for there to be someone who would be like, "Oh wait, now hold up, I'm supposed to be on the throne," and kind of start a revolt and threaten their reign. So this wasn't a strange question for David to ask, but what was different about David's question was what followed. And he said, "Is there anyone to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" And so remember I told you the fact that Jonathan and David were best friends. Well, Saul was after David. He was looking to kill him, and Jonathan protected David from that. And in that moment, they made a promise to each other, and David made a covenant promise to Jonathan that he would always care for Jonathan's family no matter what had happened. So in this moment, David is remembering that promise from long ago, and he wants to show kindness to anyone that's left. Not because they had done anything to deserve it, but because of the promise that was made. And Ziba, who was the servant, said, yeah, there's someone left, but he's crippled. And that would probably cause a king to say, okay, well, never mind. He said, yeah, okay. And your point is, where is he? Well, he's crippled and he's in Lodabar. Now, Lodabar actually meant the place of nothing, the desolate place, the place of no communication, the place of no bread, of no pasture. It was the darkest, loneliest place, and that is where Mephibosheth found himself after becoming so broken by the fall, and now in Lodabar. And there's two things I want you to take from this part of the story. Number one, I know that some of you are watching and you understand what it feels like to be in a lonely place, to be in a place like Mephibosheth, in a Lodabar, where you feel like there is absolutely nothing for you. You have been broken, you've been crippled, you've fallen, maybe at the fault of yourself or someone else. Something has happened to you in your life, something small, something big, whatever it may be. Maybe it's this pandemic as a whole, and it has broken you. And now you find yourself in the loneliest place that you have ever been, and you feel like nobody cares about you, nobody cares where you are, and you feel totally worthless. That's where Mephibosheth found himself. But I want you to hear this. Mephibosheth was being sought after by a king. I know that it feels like God doesn't care, or God doesn't hear you, or doesn't really know where you are. He knows exactly where you are. The king knew where Mephibosheth was, and God knows where you are, and he sees you, and he cares for you, and he's sending an invitation for you to get out of there. The second thing from this part of scripture is the fact that there are some of you watching right now, and you're going to be the one that the king asked to go into Lodabar. You're going to be the one that God asked to go into these dark and lonely places for your friends, for your families, or maybe even a stranger, to give them the love of God, to remind them that God is still caring and searching for them and wants them to get out of this dark place. So Mephibosheth, he got up and left. And I can only imagine how hard that was for him. Because if you think about it, he was crippled. So to get up and to walk back to the palace of the place where, you know, he once was, it was easier to stay in Lodabar. It was easier to stay in this desolate, lonely place that he had found himself in. Sometimes making the choice to actively move out of that, it's hard. And I want you to know tonight that I see you and I hear you, because I too have been there. And it's hard, and you feel like it's just easier to stay here. But I promise you, it's worth walking towards the palace. So he came before David. And in verse 7 it says, "Don't be afraid," David says. "I intend to show kindness to you because of my promise to your father Jonathan. I'll give you all the property that once belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will eat with me at the king's table." Mephibosheth had lost his identity. And not only, what I pick up from this is not only was he broken in his body, he was actually broken in his mind. He responds to David by saying, "But who am I? I'm just a dead dog." And what you gotta understand is, dogs were not something that people had as pets in this time, okay? Dogs were, they were a nuisance and no one wanted them around. So it was better to have a dead dog. It was like, oh, I'm out of the way, or that's out of the way and I don't have to deal with it. And that's how Mephibosheth felt. He actually felt like it was better for him to be in Lodabar, where no one had to worry about him, no one had to care about what he was doing, because he was just a nuisance to society. He had made this identity in his mind because of the brokenness that he had experienced, because of what he thought the world thought about him, and he had lost his identity in who he was. You see, Jonathan was known as this loyal warrior. King Saul was known as this tall, handsome leader. Mephibosheth was none of these things. So in his mind, he didn't stand like a king or act like a king. He didn't think like a king. But here's the thing. He had the DNA of the royal line in his body. You guys, I get that you feel completely worthless. I do. I get that you feel like you don't look like, act like, belong to a certain group of people. None of that changes the fact that you were created by God in His image, and you had the DNA of the God of the universe running through your veins. And in that moment, David was actually able to restore Mephibosheth's identity, to say, but this is where you belong. None of the rest matters. This is where you belong because of the promise that happened long ago. This is your home now. And this is my favorite part of the story. From that time on, Mephibosheth ate regularly at David's table like one of the king's own sons. So I need you to picture this with me. Okay, you're sitting down to a family dinner, you sit down in your chair, you pull up to the table, and all you can see is here up, right? Mephibosheth's brokenness was from the waist down. His legs were crippled, but when he sat down at that seat and pulled himself into the table, everything about his brokenness was gone. Everything about his brokenness was covered. Nobody could see it. No one was going to talk about it. Nobody even cared, because he was sat at the table of the king. So I get that you are broken. I know it because I've been broken too. But when you answer the invitation to come and sit at the king's table, when you answer the invitation that God has for you to come back into His family, from the lowest places that you've been, every bit of your brokenness is covered. You don't have to talk about it anymore. You don't have to think about it anymore. It is not seen by the king, and it doesn't matter to who you are, because who you are is who the king says you are. Who you are is who God says you are. It's not this messed up worldview that you've allowed your brokenness to put on you. God calls you chosen and loved and cared for, and you are his child. So you may be broken. You may have been hurt. Maybe it was by someone else. Maybe it was crippled by sin and by your past. Maybe you're crippled by the pandemic. Maybe you're crippled by a family situation, a broken relationship, but you're crippled. And now you're in a place of complete despair. But there's an invitation for you to get out because you don't belong there. The world may have all of these ideas about who you are because of your brokenness, but that is not what God sees. And God calls you to come back to him because of the promise that was made through Jesus when he died on that cross. It was done. It's over and it's finished. And so, yeah, I get it. You've had setbacks. But I promise you, if you walk towards the palace, the comeback is always bigger than the setback.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty grace, treasures that fit, are never enough.
Students, tonight has been about the comeback. We know that many of you have faced and are facing setbacks in your life right now. Things haven't turned out the way that you hoped or expected or dreamed. You feel knocked down, taken out, maybe so far from God and what you imagine His good plans for your life ever could have been. As Pastor Jason shared his story of God's grace reaching out to him in his darkest moments, I was reminded that God is reaching out to us in our darkest moments too. Pastor Courtney helped us see it again in the story of Mephibosheth. When we are unworthy and undeserving, grace comes to us and invites us to something more than we could ever have thought possible. Life can knock you down, but you don't have to stay down. You can make a comeback because grace is coming for you. Jesus is coming for you right now. And so our prayer tonight is that you recognize He sees you right where you are, broken, hurting, far from where you dreamed or hoped. He sees bigger and better and greater plans for you. His plan is for your comeback. Our prayer is that by His strength and His grace, surrounded by His love, you will rise out of the ashes and out of the dust. Take a new step into the plans and purposes that He has for you. It is more than you can imagine. I promise. Can I pray for you? Dear God, I thank you so much for this space that we have had here tonight. Thank you for every student and pastor and leader who has been a part of Youth Breakaway Online tonight. Lord, I know that you have been speaking into the hearts of every single one of them about the plans and the purposes that you have for them, Lord. And God, I know that some who are watching tonight are facing setbacks and have faced setbacks in their life. Lord, things are so far from what they hoped or dreamed. But God, I pray that tonight they have begun to see that you have so much more in store for them. Lord, you have plans for their comeback. Lord, that you want to see them rise out of the dust of what life has happened to them. And so God, I pray tonight that you would stir up in them and remind them, Lord, of your wonderful grace that is coming to them. Lord, I pray that you would give them courage and boldness to take the next steps that you have for them. I pray that you would surround them by leaders and mentors who can encourage them and build them up, Lord. And God, I pray, Lord, that tonight would be just the beginning of a whole lot of comeback stories that we are going to hear in the future of what you have done in and through the life of the incredible students that are part of this family. So God, I submit this whole night and all of them to you and ask you to have your way. We love you so much, Jesus. In your name, amen. Amen. Wow, this has been such an incredible night.
So good.
Amazing worship, amazing speaking, so much good, and a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Such a great night. And
Here
we are
for the
so
fun.
glad that you were here with us and we're a part of Youth Breakaway Online 2021.
Let's go.
Yeah, guys, we are also crossing our fingers and hoping and praying that YB 2022 is going to be in person.
COVID over.
Yes, at ECC.
Done.
It is a homecoming.
Oh yeah, it's gonna
For
be
the
such a
fam.
party.
We are pumped.
I got goosebumps thinking about it. Honestly,
Goosebumps.
It's gonna be
We're
unreal.
excited. Okay.
Let's do it.
So I just wanted to say thank you for coming out and hanging with us tonight. We were short a cool kid. We needed somebody to give us a hand. So thank you, Isaiah, for being a part of everything that we did. What?
Owens. How did you get out?
You forgot, when I drink 2% milk, I get super strength.
Impossible.
Wait, Isaiah, what is he talking about?
This psycho had me locked up in a milk factory. By the way, Scottsburn's better.
Hey, you take that back.
Wait, why would you lock him up in a factory?
Don't you understand? 1 year ago, you were looking for a cool kid, and you didn't even give me a call.
Lies!
Fine, I wanted the trophy, and the only way to get it is to host YB and face off against you in the finale. Winner takes all.
I knew that this was about that stupid trophy. You will get your winner takes all contest, but it is you, me, and him.
I got this. Woohoo! You forgot, drinking 2% milk gives me super strength. You forgot, when I drink 2% milk, I get super strength. It's like this, the cold cough. Is that actually gonna go on there? I can't handle it. And you want me? I got it?
Like action?
I nailed it! I nailed it! What happened?
No foam, triple latte. Please.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like totally free. So you can use this for like chicken nuggets or milkshake, like at home, like a little bit of YB at home, right? Yeah.
The fog is making it almost hard to focus. Action.
Oh, darn it.
Action.
All right, those are some great I already showed it. Those are some, oh gosh.
Pop by with some copies and wish you guys luck.
Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. And
all the Christmas cantatas are coming into play right
This
now.
moment.
He works all things together for our good and his glory.
Did you put rocks in them?
It's much fun though. I think I just got a new passion.
Wouldn't you rather be in the office?
Is that okay?